Recording here, so it's going. Please do myself as well. All right. Hi everybody, it's Jutyna coming to you from Quantum in Miami, and I'm here joined by one of the co-founders of Giddy.
Yeah.
So why don't you introduce yourself to the audience and we can go through why you think blockchain is changing financial literacy and why it's important.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Eric Parker. I'm CEO and co-founder of Giddy. We're working on a non-custodial wallet that makes it easier for more people to use crypto. So the question is,
how does blockchain affect financial literacy and why is that important?
Yeah, so I'd love to just tell you my personal experience with getting into crypto, getting into DeFi. I started just mining crypto because I'm a tech guy. I love building computers, and I figure if I can get some crypto, I can sell it, make some money. Everyone likes that. And then when I learned about smart contracts in the Ethereum network, you can write code, you can put it on the blockchain, that got me really excited. So I started messing around with making tokens and smart contracts, and when you start doing that, you inevitably have to understand how markets work, right? The core foundation really of modern DeFi is the automated market maker, Uniswap. You have these decentralized exchanges that allow you to trade crypto back and forth. So from my perspective, when I started writing code for these things, I started to see how the economics work and how markets work and how people value assets and trade them back and forth. So I approached it from an interesting angle because my background is not economics or accounting or finance. It's technology, it's code. So I began to learn how trends operate and how things are valued and kind of the good and bad, some of the neat, nice, and also ugly about economics and markets. And just because I was in the space and developing for it, I was kind of forced to understand the risks and the upsides and downsides, and I really got more fluent in the language needed in these financial markets and how they operate. So I think some people have had similar experiences, but the deeper that you dig into crypto, the more that you understand finance and markets and the economies and the value of things that get traded back and forth. So it's been a couple year journey for me. I'm still learning it. But it was amazing to have an opportunity to deep dive because of the technology.
Okay, so what I heard is that basically you got started more on the tech side, but just because of what you knew in tech, you started building out and you went into the tokenomics of the whole thing, learn about it, and that increased your financial literacy over time.
Absolutely.
So I think now that's leading to the other question. So why also do you think that financial literacy is important? How do you think blockchain will keep changing that?
I have learned a lot about the traditional finance world because of the way DeFi is modeled. A lot of these protocols, lending protocols, trading protocols, doing insurance and debt are modeled after traditional finance. So I was able to understand the incentives and models and the structure of traditional finance because I dug into it on the blockchain side. So now, when I think about my bank, my credit card, my student loans, which I still have, I feel like I understand quite a bit better the relationship between myself, the creditors, the debtors, the incentives that are in the system. I have much more literacy in my own personal finances because I understand these broader systems quite a bit better. And that applies to stocks, that applies to bonds, that applies to everything that I am touching in my life in traditional finance. I learned all of this stuff finally after, however far I am removed from college. I learned it from experience through the blockchain.
Fantastic. And I think the other part I want to add to this and build on with is like the gamification of education. So I know when I went to your booth, you told me, okay, well, you and your whole crew said, get the app, interact with it, do this. And what do you think about gamifying education and rewarding people for completing certain tasks in education?
I'll answer that by just kind of we joke at my office about how video games are the pinnacle of society. When a society gets enough resources and they're comfortable, you start to entertain yourself And eventually you need something that's highly entertaining, and creating a video game that's got a lot of features and beautiful art, it's like the pinnacle of entertainment, so therefore it's the pinnacle of society. And I say that jokingly because video games are fun, but of course there's other more important things going on. The point I'm making is that you cannot reach people on a level that sinks in, on a level that imparts information without having some level of usability, which in other words kind of comes down to entertainment. When you're doing traditional finance, like let's say you had a Bloomberg terminal, right? It's this thing that looks like software from the 80s, and it's all black screen and green text, super, super dense, kind of boring. It feels like work, even though it's very powerful. A lot of people use it for institutional level finance. It's not something that sinks in because it's work. You want to get away from that thing. You don't want to spend time with it. Crypto is still in a spot where most people have to work. You're mitigating risk constantly. You're thinking about fees. You're thinking about blockchains, and do I send it to this address or that address? You can easily delete your money if you don't know what you're doing. There's so much risk inherent in crypto that it still feels like work. We're not getting to the point yet where it's usable and fun. So what we're trying to solve, and it's kind of a roundabout way to answer your question, is usability. We want this to be so fun that you don't have to not only not think about the risk, we want to solve the risks. We want to mitigate the risks for you with technology so that you can just think about the outcomes. I want to think about earning 10% on a stable coin, not losing money. So what we are trying to do is abstract difficult concepts, make it usable and fun, so that people can think about the outcomes rather than each step along the way and those risks. So that's why when people come to the booth, we say, just download the app, we'll give you some free crypto, because it really is that easy. You download the app, you log in with Google, you get some free crypto, and we've abstracted out a lot of the difficulty and risk. So I think the next step in the industry as a whole is making things more usable, more to the point where we're focused on outcomes and the highs and the fun part of it, rather than just mitigating all this risk.
Well, I think it's interesting because I think we're going into systems thinking and breaking apart the process. So I think what I'm hearing is you're looking at the result, right? And you're looking at getting to the result easy and fun, versus before so that's the process, whereas before the process was difficult. Now you've abstracted what you said, the whole difficulty of the process made the process easy and fun. So I think maybe the other thing I want to just point out too is when you gamify things, I guess the user is not even feeling like it's work, right?
Yeah, very, very much so. And I think it's important to point out that we have had an attempt at solving this problem in the form of centralized crypto companies. And we're seeing the consequences of that right now in the fact that a lot of these centralized companies were they were obtaining their yield from the same place. It was money that got levered up multiple times. And that house of cards came tumbling because there was a lot of hidden levers, there was hidden risk. So again, the point I'm making is that when we solve these problems, when we abstract all these things and make it easy and usable, it's our responsibility as technologists to actually solve the risk. We can't just sweep it under the rug. We need to patch it. We can't just pretend that there's no hidden leverage. We need to be on the public ledger verifying that there's no hidden leverage and other smart contract related risks. So the approach that we're taking is technology first. We're building all of our technology with decentralized, trustless, permissionless, self-custodied tech native to the blockchain. Rather than trying to hide it, we are abstracting the difficulty by solving it with code, but we're not pretending it doesn't exist. We're actually solving that risk. So I feel like it's really important that we as builders in this space take upon ourselves the responsibility to solve those risks. Don't just pretend they don't exist and do a good job at hiding it, but use the tech at our disposal to actually mitigate those risks for real, so that when a user has a fun, enjoyable, seamless experience, they're not doing it at the cost, at the risk of potentially losing all the money. There's people at Giddy who have money still stuck with, well, I don't need to name names, but some of these centralized agencies that are caught up in the mess right now. And it's because they didn't tell anybody what the risks were. So anyway.
So what I'm hearing is there's like the whole transparency, making sure that at the technology level people take the right decisions, which sounds like how you govern, the governance piece. But I think I just want to go back to the part of like the user feeling and the user experience side of things. And so what do you think would be the benefit when you gamify learning?
Another kind of example, I have a son in first grade right now, and he is really interested in different games and apps that have gamified programming, gamified math. He absolutely sticks to those things like glue. He loves engaging, and he's learned a lot because he's having a good time. I think it's engaging multiple parts of your personality, multiple parts of your brain to solve a problem, to have fun, and also intake new information. So as we grow the industry, which it's ripe for growth, and there's really a lot of growing that crypto can do, we need to be engaging whole parts of people, not just the part that wants to earn a little bit of money and will do whatever it takes to kind of like, have a new hustle. We need to be engaging the part of you that says, I want to save for my child's college. I want to save for a vacation. I want to solve a problem in my life that's meaningful. And oh my goodness, I can use this brand new tool to help me do it. So I think it's reaching people's lives in a meaningful way, solving real problems. That's the power of gamifying, your technology. It's kind of, tricking people is probably the pejorative way to say it, but it's putting the focus on outcomes rather than focusing on the process.
Well, I think maybe I think it's a bit of both, because I agree with you. Yes, focus on getting them there, but I think what you're doing is you're just changing the process. The process was difficult. Now you made it easy.
Yeah.
And now you've gamified it, so it's actually fun. So it doesn't feel so burdensome. So I don't think they're exclusive. I think actually it's inclusive. I like that you're focusing on the outcome, and I like that you made the process so easy. And I think that's the whole point. When you make the process easy and fun, like you said, you get the full engagement of the person.
Definitely.
And you get the result that you wanted. But it sticks more in the memory because the whole body, the whole mind was engaged, not just a part of that person.
Definitely.
Is that what you wanted to say?
I think it's a great way to say it. And you get the whole brain involved, and the whole person, the whole body. And I love that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So nice to meet you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.